Okay, do you hear people telling you all the time that you need to say no more? Say no and you will be freer. But do they ever talk to you about saying yes? No,
Come
they
on.
don't. Mm-mm. So, as usual, Tiana and I are coming in hot for our Freedom Friday, and we are going to talk to you about the freedom of yes. We have talked to you about the freedom of no.
Mhm,
Today,
mhm.
we started talking about how easy it is to say no to a lot of things, but it's real hard to say yes to a few things.
That
Tiana, what do
part.
you think? Yep. Tell us more.
Uh, so one of the biggest piece of my business with my clients is around helping them get to a place of clarity.
Hmm.
And in that clarity, I typically ask them to fill out a no list. What are
Great.
the things that you no longer want to do? And I have them broken up into four categories. But one of the things that really has hit me over and over again, that no list becomes a list that sits on the side. And now it's just a list of complaints.
Hmm.
For that, we can't continue. We can't operate in that space of just letting it be. We actually have to operate in the space of shifting that no to a yes.
Yeah. Yep.
But that is the hard part.
That's the hard part.
Man, go ahead, Kim, because you had some great insights there. We can't hear you, Kim.
That one
Now,
work? Ooh, I don't know when I died out. All right, we're just gonna start over because I don't know when I lost audio. Okay, so we're gonna start over.
okay,
Sorry,
no problem.
Yusan. I have no idea when my audio just died, but my
It
mic
died
was
when
closed.
you stopped, when I transitioned to go ahead, Kim,
Oh,
share.
and then you couldn't hear anything? Okay, good. So you had me up to then. All right, so we'll start there and go ahead, Kim. Okay. So you will hear a lot of advice out there. People will talk a lot about to say no, to get more. And there's a lot of focus on saying no, doing less, right? Do less, say no more often. And we hear that advice a lot, but we don't ever take it to the next step, which is then what do you say yes to? What is your yes? And that is what Tiana is talking about. So, Tiana, tell us a little bit more.
Sure, absolutely. So for me, that yes is translating those no's into something powerful.
Yes.
It allows for you to see what's possible in the next stages of your career or your business. So for
Hmm.
me, that yet helping a client actually identify what their yeses are is one of the most freeing, transformative moments for them. And here's
Hmm.
the piece, it's that shift. Because many times those no's, let me tell you, because my no's are so heavily associated with what I did in my career over
Yeah.
the last 20 plus years. Things that I thought I was going to transition into my consultancy, my coaching work. I'm like, I don't want to touch that anymore. I am exhausted from it. It is the things that drain my energy and no longer fuel my soul. And in understanding that, and then being able to say, but you still have all these gifts. How
Yeah.
can these gifts be used? And helping connect the dots to what are the things that bring people joy, refuel them, and allow for them to be productive individuals in a way that actually shocks so many of them. That
It does. It does. Because here's what happens. We start with the no list, right? And we're
Mhm,
like, and
mhm.
let's just this goes for personal and professional. I've done the no list on both, okay? So, but we're stick to the professional for today. So, the no list normally starts like I don't want to work for a company that wants me to work more than 60 hours a week. I don't want to work for a company that doesn't honor vacation. I don't want to work for a company that I don't agree with their ethos. I don't want to work for a company that's over 10,000 employees.
Mhm.
I don't want to work for a company that has to relocate me. So, in typical, what I will call lightweight coaching, That is the path that you go down, right? I don't want, 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 I don't want. And then that's typically kind of where it stops. And you're like,
Mhm.
okay, well, here's all the things that I don't want in my new job. So then when you, yep, and then you go out and you're like, well, I don't want that job because it's going to require me to move. And I don't want that job because they have 5 days less vacation.
Mhm.
And I don't want that job because da da da. Da. And guess what? You never get a job because you're so focused on what they don't have, you're
Correct.
not thinking about what they do have. So take us to the next level. How do we make that transition, Tiana?
Well, here's the thing. I just want to add one more piece because that's just a job. There's also a
Yes.
piece for those who are doing their business, right? I see
Yes.
folks, no more micromanaging,
Yep. Yep.
no more free consulting,
Yep.
no more um medial task, no more. And it's like, my business will be a brand. I've heard have one person who shared, my business will be a brand that sells itself. You can't sell the brand itself. You actually
Honey,
still need to put in work.
when you figure that out, you call me. Okay. Please.
but
Because we're gonna make some money together.
but that's the reality, right? It's
Yeah.
like folks who are like, I don't want anything to do with social media, don't want to put my face to be out there. Well, great. You're either going to have to hire a face, or you're going to have to create a business that is based solely on referrals. But if that's, choose A or B, and once
Yeah.
you choose A or B, then let's attack it and go that way,
Yeah. Yep.
right? And it's okay to have you, as you were going back to the job piece, it's
Mhm.
okay to say those are all the things you don't want from the job. But you
Right.
also have to identify, who are you changing in yourself?
Yes.
Because if that isn't answered, you're going to be right back into not then understanding
Yeah.
what it is you actually want.
Yeah.
So that shift, you asked, what was that shift?
Yeah, and that's it right there. You have to understand what's causing the no. So let's talk about the 60 hours a week, right?
Yeah.
I don't want, because I know people who work 60 hours a week and are perfectly happy working
Yes.
60 hours a week.
Yes.
I know people who work 80 hours a week and are perfectly happy working 80 hours a week. I
Mhm.
know people who work 15 hours a week and are miserable as hell. So it's so the next step in that is, once you've identified why is that a no?
Yes.
Because once you can get to the why is that a no, and the 60 hours is a great example, because it is almost always because what I was doing for 60 hours didn't make me happy.
That part. It's the didn't make me happy, and or it's taken me away from XYZ.
Yes. Something else that made me happier. They are not, it's not complementing or supporting the thing that made me happier.
That
Like, because we talk about this, like, so I still do big corporate work. I don't love doing big corporate work. I every time I end a big corporate client, I go, I'm never doing another big corporate client again. And I do a big corporate client again because I need the money. But that supports me in helping out the little guys who can't afford me. So that's why I do one or the other. But that is a great example right there. That no, if I had stuck with that no and said, I will never do another big corporate client again,
yeah,
then I will not be able to do my yes, which is help.
exactly. But here's the piece: being as a solopreneur, you get to choose who
Mhm.
that big corporate client
Yep.
is, right? So what are
They're
the
all pain in
yes,
the asses. It doesn't matter.
in some shape or short form, but
Yes.
there are things that you're okay with, and
Yeah.
knowing what you're okay with, like, you're ready
Yeah.
aware, yes, they're all pains, and but if this is an environment that is ready for change, if
Yeah.
this is an
Yes.
organization that sees value in XYZ, like,
Yeah.
okay, I can partner with you.
Yes,
You
because it fuels my yes. Because I'm charging the big retainers for the corporate clients, I can charge the little retainers for the little clients and
Mhm,
help the little guys.
mhm.
So the transition is we understand what our no is, but it's then taking that next step to understand why that was a no,
Mhm.
because then that can help us find out what our yeses are.
That part.
So then we can get to our yeses. So, like, one of my no's, like when I quit corporate, I said I would never go back in and work for another company again. Right. I said, that's it.
Yeah.
That was my big no. I'm feral. I'm an outside cat now, not coming back inside. Not going to happen. But what that allowed me to do, the reason that was a no for me and continues to be a no for me, is that my yes is I will help as many other companies as I can.
That part. That part.
I can make myself available and accessible to anybody that I choose because I'm saying no to this. So that's the yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And for
So
me,
let's
it's
talk some more about yeses. Yep.
yeah. So for me, I'll use my example. I'm not going back into a major organization again either.
Yep.
I'm done. But now I can coach those next leaders.
Yes.
I'm all about pulling those next folks up to their next desired role.
Yeah.
And the beauty is I choose to work with leaders who
Yep.
say, I want help to help this individual get to that next step. Okay, so
Yes.
now you're supporting their growth. I'm
Yes.
here all day long because now we're doing it together.
Boom. And that was similar for me too. So my no was I'm not going to go back to corporate, right?
Mhm.
But my yes is that just like you, I will work with anybody who is willing to make change.
Yes.
And the reason my no was corporate was because corporate didn't want to change. Or that and that's my actual no. My real no isn't that I won't go back for corporate. My real no is that I won't go back and work for an organization that's big and heavy and not nimble and can make changes.
That
That's the real no.
that part. And as I
Mhm.
looked at my individual, my B2C clients,
Mhm.
my
Mhm.
big thing is that they want it. They must absolutely want. And I don't care if they're confused, if they're not sure. Like I have
Yeah.
clients who are like, I don't know if I want to stay in this W2. I don't know if I want to start my own. I just know I want change.
Yes.
Fabulous. Let's go
Right.
for it.
Yep.
And we could tackle both at the same time to figure
Yep.
out in at the end what is now your true yes.
Yeah. What is your yes? And so let's talk about some tools to help you figure out your yes. We've been talking about that you figure out your no and then figure out
Mhm,
your yes,
mhm.
but there's some other things that you can do to figure out your yeses. So the one is, do you feel energized by what you're doing?
I do a complete energy audit just for that.
Energy audit. Are you energized? And look, and I'm going to break it down for y'all. Be honest
Mhm,
with yourself.
mhm, mhm,
Take off all the varnish, all the makeup, take off the toupee, the wig, the merkin, whatever the fuck you're wearing to show to hide what you're trying to hide. Take it all off and be honest with yourself. What energizes you?
yeah.
And if it's pulling weeds in a garden and you're an executive at a bank, then then go for it. That's what I'm talking about. A lot of us sit down and we're like, what energizes me? But we have the veil on it of what have I been doing for the last 20 years? What does everybody expect from me? Blah, 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 blah. And we don't get the real answer. What is it that you wake up early on Saturday to do?
Mhm, mhm, and willing to.
And willing to.
Don't need the alarm for it.
Yep. Bounced right out of bed.
Correct,
Yep.
correct. And
What is that?
and I
Yeah.
also push us because you said one thing, things that other people expect us to do.
Yes.
I also what have you now inherited in your mind that
Yep.
you're expected to do as well? It's
Yep.
time to get rid of that.
Yes.
Release, release.
Release. Yes. If
Uh,
your parents for 100 years have been running a great big retail store and you don't give a shit about retail and you really care about construction, go do the construction job. You don't need to stick with the family
Whatever you
organization.
care about. Kim, we've lost you again, but I am going to just add on so that we can have some pieces that we can put together. So here we go. You're back.
There
Here
we
we
go.
go.
I'm like, is that everybody's out now? Like you dropped, I dropped, we all dropped. I don't know what that's about. Okay.
We're back.
So, but yeah, so when you're asking yourself about your yes, be open. Maybe you want to do hair, maybe you want to do nails, maybe you've always wanted to be an electrician, right? Like be open about what the yes is.
One of my clients, my favorite, she was like, my favorite class was teaching people how to write their obituary. I'm like, what? And she's like, yeah. But she said, what it is it helped them identify how they want to be remembered. So my next step for my number two for you is, how do you want to leave your legacy? Right?
Yeah.
Because all the work you're doing right now is probably for liquidity. It's all about
Mhm.
the finances, how I'm going to retire, all those cool things, amazing, but it means nothing if it doesn't touch the heart of
Yep.
what exactly do you want to leave behind for those whom you love or for the world, whatever it
Yeah.
is. What is
Yeah.
the legacy you want to leave?
That's your yes. That's your part of your yes. Yes. Another great way to figure out what your yes is. And I know it sounds ridiculous, and people are, people are always like, if you do what you love, you always love what you do. And people get tired of that little,
Mhm.
patrimony, but it's true. And there's a lot of benefit to it. And the other thing is that when you're doing what you care about, you're better at it.
Tell the truth.
Yeah.
Tell the truth, because
Yeah.
what I found, especially transitioning from the W-2 to figuring out what's next, was my first one or two projects. I literally spent the entire time like, yep, I can do that. I can. Here's maybe a better way. Or
Mhm.
actually, that is not something I want to do right now.
Mhm.
That's how I even started my no list, was
Mhm.
identifying with clarity, like, yeah, nah,
Mm-mm.
but here's the alternative, and willing to speak out loud what that alternative is in
Mhm.
support of.
Mhm.
So much so, it helped me come up with a clear path that I share with my clients, which is, all right, here's what the cost is for you to do it yourself. I'll happily give you
Yeah.
the guide.
Yeah.
Here's what the cost is to do with you. I'll
Yeah.
happily guide you through and be there as a support system as you,
Yep.
your team, whomever implements. I got
Yeah.
you. But
Yeah.
I'm still not doing it, but I'm doing it with
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And the last, here's what it's going to cost for me to do it. But here's the key. Don't share that unless it's something you really want to do. And
Yeah.
that's how you'll know the difference
Yeah.
of what it is that you are happy to do day in and day out and say yes
Exactly.
to, compared to
Yeah.
what you'll say no to.
Yeah. Great example. So so Tiana and I today, that's our message is we've talked a lot about the no, what you don't want to do, but in order to really make that full transition and move forward, you got to figure out what your yeses are.
That's it. Reach out
That's
to
it.
both of us because we'll help
Oh
you.
yeah.
We'll happily tell you no to
We'll
your
help
yes.
you figure it out for sure. It's not all about the no. So figure out what your no's are, figure out why that's a no, because sometimes what the real no isn't the real no.
That part.
Yep. And then it'll help you figure out your yes. All right. Thank you. That's me or Tiana for day. Freedom Friday. Bye, y'all.
Bye.